it's time to start this war. Not giving in. I'm not giving in. I'm not giving in.
Good evening and welcome to the Auditorium Grimsby for the final of the 2012 PartyPoker.com Snooker Premier League. This is how they line up tonight. Remember, it's the best of 13, the race to 7. World #1 Judd Trump against Stuart Bingham, who's still unbeaten in this season's Premier League. Yeah, good to see you again. Since the competition began back in 1987, there have been just 8 different winners of the Premier League. Tonight's winner, either Judd or Stuart, will join an illustrious list of snooker greats, which includes the likes of Davies, Hendry, White and O'Sullivan. And in those previous 24 years, we've never had a final go to a deciding frame. But after last night's semi-finals, only a fool would back against one tonight.
So then, the pressure squarely on. And I think this semi-final is going to be intriguing.
This is the first chance in this match.
Oh, delightful. The 4-times world champion trails 1-0.
Wow.
It's a free ball as well. Double whammy.
Wow. Everything's happening this frame.
And that 14-frame winning streak of Stuart Bingham in this tournament is just about to be ended. All of a sudden, Bingham back in stroke, back in front. Could that be a frame winner? Smashing pot. He stole frame 6. Can he do the same in frame 7? This could be a crippling blow for Bingham. John Higgins, 4-3 ahead. Don't know how, but he is. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. We're down to a sudden death decider.
This is an excellent chance now for Stuart.
He's shown an awful lot of character. He's marked his debut in the PartyPoker.com Premier League by reaching the final.
It's reigning UK champion versus reigning Masters champion. Looks as if Trump's going to win the frame. I think Robertson would be pretty shaken to lose it in such a commanding position.
He's missed it.
After all, Neil Robertson leads Judd Trump.
Well, Judd is a little bit all over the place at the moment. There's a few early warning signs for him. Going to have to get his act together pretty quickly. A chance here now for Judd to kill off this frame. Well, it's quite amazing from these two.
So Trump is back in the frame.
It's not been pretty stuff, Clive, but Judd, if he comes through this frame here, he'll just think, well, a win is a win.
Trump couldn't produce his usual standard of potting and break building, but beats Neil Robertson by 5 frames to 4.
Didn't he just? That finished this morning at 1:30 as well, with confirmation of both our semi-finals. Bingham beating the 4-times champion of the world and one of the best players ever to pick up a cue, John Higgins, by the odd frame. And Judd, as we've just seen, beating Neil Robertson, the 2010 world champion, by the same scoreline. Former world #3 Neil Foulds joins me now. Will that bear anything at all going into tonight's game, the fact that Judd finished this morning?
I don't think so. If it had been maybe an afternoon final, perhaps. It wasn't a great match, but I think both players would have admitted that, surprisingly so. I don't think I've ever seen Trump play like that for maybe 2 or 3 seasons, but he still managed to win, so maybe he's got all the bad out of his system there.
Talking about Stuart Bingham, who's still unbeaten. He's had a wonderful Premier League, making his debut as well in it this year. Are you surprised by how well he's striking the ball, not just in practice, but obviously on the match table as well?
I think he's one of the most improved players around now. I'm not surprised at all. He's very fluent, and the format has not affected him. And that great night in Guildford when he won 12 out of 12, you know, he is the player of the tournament in so many ways.
And I asked Judd as well last night, standing where you're standing just before his game, about does he feel more pressure now in every tournament? Bear in mind, he is the favourite, he's the world #1. And he said that he doesn't consider himself the best player in the world. He still thinks people like John Higgins, and when he's playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, etc. In your mind, I know he's top of the tree at the moment. Is he the man to beat? Is he the best player?
Yeah, he is. He is the best player. He's the UK champion. He's won the international. He's got to a world final as well. Who is the best player? I mean, obviously, we haven't got Ronnie at the moment. Who knows when he'll be back, if he is at all. Higgins is close to him, and so was the man he beat last night. But I think he's the best player, and he's made high 30 amount of century breaks. He could make more than 50 centuries before Christmas. Phil Yates is jumping up and down at that stat. He loves all that.
He does indeed. Didn't make a century last night. Didn't even make a 50, would you believe? Let's have a quick reminder of what the bookies make of tonight's final. There he is, the current world #1, Judd Trump. 11 to 4 on. You have to put 11 on to win 4. Stuart Bingham, as you can see, just over 2 is 11 to 5. And if you do fancy a little flutter on the actual frame score in tonight's game, the bookies obviously fancy 7-5 to Judd. That's 5.5, and the score before it is the favourite, 7-4. If Stuart is going to win it, Neil, it's going to be in another last frame decider, 9-1, 7-6.
That's what the bookmakers think, but this is, as you were saying, this tournament is notorious for one-sided finals over the years. In the O'Sullivan days, he wiped everyone away. It may be that we're in for a close one this time.
If Stuart does win, he gets just under £80,000 with regards to how much he won in the group stage. He's also in line for the highest break, £5,000 for that. Let's remind ourselves as well, because both of tonight's players have contributed towards 8 of the top breaks. As you can see, Stuart Bingham's top with a 1-3-3-5, which he got against Neil Robertson a few weeks back when he just produced amazing snooker, winning 12 frames on the bounce. We didn't see one from Judd at all last night. We didn't even see a 50 from Judd. What sort of breaks are we going to get? What sort of game is it going to be tonight? Is it going to be open, attacking?
Oh, definitely. These two are very attacking players, both fluent. Probably the most fluent players we got in the Premier League. I guess the other player who would equate to that would have been Mark Allen, who's also very positive and quick around the table, but he's not here. But we've got two of the most attacking players in the game. It should be a great final.
Finally, give me a scoreline. What's going to happen?
Trump has got to world #1 by being the best. I tipped Bingham last night. I thought he'd beat John Higgins, but I think that Judd might win tonight.
Score?
10 or 11 frames to get there. Work it out. Do the maths.
All right, so a 7-3, 7-4, something like that. You're impressed, aren't you? Right, let's get on with it. Time for the final time to meet the players. And first up is Stuart Bingham.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You've joined us live at the Auditorium here in Grimsby. Matchroom Sport proudly present the final of the PartyPoker.com Premier League Snooker. Coming to you live here on Sky Sports HD. The best of 13 frames, a 25-second shot clock, and taking part in his 14th Premier League final, our referee in charge of the action, Paul Collier. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the finalists. 10 came and only 2 remain. Firstly, would you please welcome the former Australian Open champion, Stuart Bingham!
We saw you first up last night in your semi-final. It was a tough semi, but you obviously got there in the end, and we know that Judd finished around about 1:30. Do you have an unfair advantage going into tonight's game, or is 24 hours a long time in snooker?
Long time in snooker. I think I stayed up watching it, so I can't have an unfair advantage.
I mentioned there to Neil that you can, if you go all the way and win it and your highest break doesn't get beaten, you can win close to £80,000. That's not bad in the Premier League, is it?
Yeah, it's a good debut season, really, in this, isn't it?
And how are you going to beat the current world #1? Do you have a game plan? I was chatting to Stephen Hendry earlier, says he was watching you last night saying you're striking the ball very, very well. You obviously are pleased with the way you're playing. Good enough to be champion tonight?
Yeah, obviously I've got to produce some snooker like I did, obviously, the last time I was at the Premier League against Neil and Mark Selby. So if I produce that, then I've got every chance.
Good luck. Stuart Bingham, everyone. Stuart's opponent is the current world number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, time to meet the UK champion, who is crowned world number 1. It's Judd Trump!
Hi Judd, you finished last night, as I've mentioned a few times tonight, 1:30 in the morning, this morning. By the time you got to the right hotel, it was probably about 3 a.m. How are you feeling now?
I feel all right. I didn't get up till 3 or 4, so I had a nice little lie-in.
You've had a good 12 hours. We didn't talk after the game last night. What did you make of your performance, and how difficult was it playing at such a ridiculous time?
I think the conditions were really poor last night. There was a lot of kicks. The cloth wasn't playing too well, so it was tough for both of us. But in the end, I just changed my game plan and played a lot of safety. So it was quite boring to watch. Even I got a little bit bored, so I can't blame everyone for leaving. And
I said at the top of the show that whoever wins tonight will join that amazing list of players that have been Premier League champions before: Davis, Hendry, Higgins, White, O'Sullivan and so on. What would it mean to you to be crowned Premier League champion tonight?
Yeah, obviously I think it suits my game. I know Stuart's quite quick as well, so I think overall, I think we've been the best 2 so far. I'd say Stuart's been the best, but obviously tonight I need to try and beat him to win it.
Good luck. Judd Trump, everyone. Good luck, Judd. Should be an absolute corker. If you do have any questions, you can tweet them to our boys in the box. Just send your tweet to @SkySnooker. It's the first of 7, the best of 13. Let's join our boys in the box. Neil Foulden first up, the voice of snooker, Clive Everton.
It's £50,000 for the winner, 25,000 for the runner-up, but most of all,
the first frame,
Judd Trump
to break.
and Stuart Bingham want that priceless feeling of holding up the trophy on the final night.
Yeah, and only one other person, bar O'Sullivan, all the years we've had the Premier League in this format, has done so. That was Sean Murphy 3 years ago. It's all been O'Sullivan, but he's not here, so it is a great chance. And Judd Trump, I think, is now the new O'Sullivan. So excited to watch. He's got to the world number 1 player playing his own way, and that's always been attacking, always been great to see.
Well, that could have been worse because, well, seeing it on a different angle, Bingham can, after all, get to the centre of the cue ball. I didn't think he could at first glance.
It's a really good shot. I mean, the ground was still a distraction, I think. Despite the fact that he could get centre cueing, being next to the cue ball, it's always difficult there. But it's absolutely perfectly on the blue. And saying at the top of the show with Andy that, you know, he has been the player of the tournament. No doubt about that. He's thoroughly enjoyed playing in the Premier League. It suits his very fluent style, and knocking in big breaks, and he's still undefeated.
Bingham has always been a good player, and throughout his professional career, which stretches to 17 years, he's beaten good players, but to start with, only in isolation. And that's not how he's beaten them. He's missed it.
Stuart Bingham, 7.
Blew off the spot, opening the bunch, and that could be an important mistake.
Yeah, that was horrible. He missed every part of the shot. He missed the pot by far enough to that top jaw as we look now. That won't inspire him at the start of a match. Always start every match afresh, and it's one of those early on. It can play tricks with your mind a bit.
Green ball.
I think it can certainly affect a player the way that Trump played last night. He was poor. I mean, there's no getting away from the match with Robertson and Trump. Was a terrible game, but those are very high standards. The other match was better. Stewart beating John Higgins. It was just a blip, I think. And he's been playing brilliantly this season.
5.
Yes, he comes here as the winner of the China International Championship and the Bulgaria Open, and recently he's lost to John Higgins in 2 other finals. Shanghai Masters 10-9 from 7-2 up, and one of the UK PTCs at
11.
Gloucester.
Yeah, what I was saying with Andy at the start of the show about the amount of centuries he's made. Every time Phil Yates phones me about anything else, he always mentions how many centuries Judd Trump is on for the season. Up to 38. Extraordinary, Clive.
Well, it is, because the record
19
for a season is 55, which stands to Mark Selby.
That's going to be blown out of the water,
20.
isn't it? For sure. Interesting that he never made a 50 last night, though. Never mind a century. That shows you the game's not always as easy as these guys make it look. That was very confidently played, though. Didn't get any applause for that. That was a nice little burst open of the pack.
27. $28.
That reminds me a bit of
35.
Perry Mans, who of course won the whole of the entire Masters Championship at
36.
Wembley without making a 50 break in the whole tournament. But the days of a player not making a 50 in a match like last night are very rare, especially when they win.
$43.
He's going to make a 50 or more here.
$44.
And this effort arises from an unforced error from Bingham. Blue to middle opening the bunch.
And he's been given plenty of time to think about that shot, hasn't he? The one thing about this game, you can think about shots
51.
over and over in your mind when you're sitting there watching your opponent pop balls. And the one thing that Trump has got is the ability to win frames, groups of frames, very quickly. He could win 3 frames in
58.
20 minutes in a match. Such is his fluency.
59.
In fact, Trump beat John Higgins 4-0 in the final of the Bulgaria Open in less than an hour.
Yeah, he made a bit of a mess of Higgins in that match. It's the first time he's beaten him in the last 4, though.
66.
Higgins' resurgence in the game is there for all to see.
67.
It's just what Trump needed, I think, after last night. I don't think he would have had a sleepless night over it. I mean, you heard he slept until mid-afternoon. I don't think he's a worrier, but he'd be pleased to be
74.
knocking in balls straight away.
75.
With his last black, he tried to develop the red on the right-hand side cushion, but he's got to leave it till last.
82.
Now,
83.
he's going to, I think, have to drop in behind the red. Being a... Well, this is the one part of the table that Trump struggles with. Well, it's not going to matter now. That's not dropped in somehow.
However, that was A very impressive start by Judd Trump. He needed only one chance. He made 83 from it. He leads by a frame to nil.
One thing for sure, Trump is used to playing in finals. He's played in a lot of finals recently. As we were saying, John Higgins has beaten him in a couple of those, but he always seems to be there. So this is just another day at the office for a man that has improved in leaps and bounds.
Can't hit that red direct, so Bingham is forced into taking a time extension while he thinks what to do.
There's nothing obvious here, Clive, either. I mean, unless he plays to swerve around the green to get to that red. That's what he's trying here, I think. It's dangerous, black there. Wow, what a shot that is. What a shot. A little bit of side has taken the cue off the second cushion up so he can pop the black. What a tremendous shot that was. And he's in.
Eight. Nine.
Well, I think we can expect a great final between these two, and one thing you can say is that he will not be hanging around.
Was always going to be on the red that was already loose.
17.
I think there's been a new depth to Bingham's confidence ever since he won the Australian Goldfields Open some 19 or 20 months ago. There's nothing like winning your first world ranking title. If you can win one, there's no reason why you can't win more.
24.
No ranking points here, but it's a very prestigious title just the same. A good one to have on your CV, and also, if Bingham can win, it would ensure his participation in next season's Premier League.
I think he'd be very sorry to miss out on it, actually, because, as you say, he loves playing and he's enjoyed playing in this. And snooker really is a big part of his life, because he's a family man as well, and 31. A decent golfer, but he's put everything into his snooker in the last 3 or 4 years, playing just about everything. When there were less tournaments on the main tour, you see him in pro-ams around the country. No time for those anymore. And he's reaping all the benefits from this.
38.
Go back to the year 2000 when he beat Stephen Hendry, when Hendry was world champion. That was the first round at the Crucible. Thought that was where he was going to come through, but it didn't happen immediately. As you say, Clive,
39.
He really is a different player now. It feels like he's 10 foot tall out there. Now, how does he get his next red? He's looked at going into these. He's going to the bottom of the cue ball. A lot of moving parts here. Well, he'll be happy with that, all right, that's for sure. That wasn't necessarily going to land on a red. Secondary kiss is the deadly one. There it is. But at least he went into those with absolute conviction. Now, does he play on the black here? So he's got to be careful if he does. That's all right. That's absolutely 45. Perfect. Well, the break time is 4.5 minutes, and this frame is almost over.
52. $53.
Judd saying that the table didn't play very well last night. 1 or 2 rolls on it. The table fitters, I can tell you, have been working all day on that. Table do sometimes have the odd roll on them at the end of the first day of a session, just when they've been put in overnight, and they worked on getting this table as true as is possible. So that's been sorted
60.
out.
$61.
Kind of thing that really is nobody's fault when it happens. Seems to be playing beautifully tonight, there's no doubt about that.
Yes, if there are a few odd rolls, very often it's the fault of the floor, not the table.
68.
Now this is frame ball. In under 6 minutes, he's won the frame.
69. $74.
Now I think he played a little flick the second red of the 2 there. That's why he's finished where he has. He actually played a very delicate cannon, which he missed.
He is, however, past the winning post already, barring snookers. So it wouldn't have mattered if he had missed that black.
No, but he could
82.
increase his highest break of the tournament here. Those 2 reds, of course, will be a problem still. Well, it doesn't matter now.
82 on the front.
John Trump took the opening frame with a break of 83. Stuart Bingham took the second with one of 82. It's 1-all.
Playing Clive, I might add, with that running side was the reason he was on the black. It was quite a way to win a frame from what was a real predicament he was in. Well, set things up very nicely, hasn't it? The way the first 2 frames have been played, there's real buzz in here tonight.
Bit different from Trump Robertson last night, which was a right old slog.
Yeah, unexpectedly. I couldn't imagine that was going to be a poor game. It looked like it was going to be an absolute thriller. It was close, but it wasn't of a high standard. I think this has already proved to be a different story. Real hard stun run through there of that red. That's a great shot, and he's got an angle, as you can see, on the black if he wants to go into the side of the pack. Well, again, these 2 are playing with no fear at the moment. Of course, that might change if the match gets close, but it's a good start. Just a chance to really get these reds split. Got choices here. Red up into the top right, he's trying. Yeah, he stayed down on that. When it hits,
Just
as we're looking, the right-hand jaw, there's less chance of it going in than hitting it off the other jaw.
Just onto the side cushion jaw.
One.
Well, the blue's away from its spot, which means you can't chip it to the left middle. So probably play the brown here. It's not such an easy positional shot as he would hope for. Oh, he's played that well. Coming to the left as we look of the yellow. Probably a little bit of left-hand running side on that.
5.
Not frightened to use side. We saw that with that swerve in the previous frame, but on these cloths, many players try and hit plain ball all the time. Trump being one of those. Bingham plays lots of shots. A little bit of side to help his position a bit. And this time, if he's straight on the red, it's handy with the blue being below its own spot.
13.
Had two chances there. Ran a little far for the red to right corner, but had always got that one as a saver.
Now, I wonder if he's thinking of just screwing into the reds here. He doesn't have to. There is a red at the bottom, but he could play an attacking shot and screw into these, perhaps. That's what he's done. It was played with a lot of more control than that, actually. Yes, he went into the reds, but no, he didn't really take much of a risk. He knew exactly
19.
what he was doing.
$20.
Just get to the centre of the cue ball here. He's okay. Same again. Not doing a lot with this, so he can just drop it in, even though he's got a cue over the top of the balls.
27.
Nelson, you've got great big shovels for hands like Stewart has. Playing this shot, get the elevation.
28.
Make a good goalkeeper, I think, if he wasn't a snooker player.
Time
Well, he's
extension.
having the extension of what is 20 seconds. Wants the cue ball clean, and maybe time to just pause for thought, see what key shot he can play here. And again, he might just disturb the reds. I don't think he's going to play it with a lot of force. Just a little nudge into a couple of reds is the plan. Well, he's actually played in behind one. It's a good chance.
35. $36. $43. 44.
Now again, signs that he's hitting the ball so well, absolutely perfectly on the blue to either land on a red or just nudge into the pink. That's not too bad. Awkward queuing this time, though, I have to say. It might be
49.
Getting the spider out for this next shot. This is not an easy one. Does he take his second time extension here, or does he just compose himself and play the shot? It's a little awkward.
Touching ball.
The touching ball makes no material difference to this shot, but the referee has to declare it.
50.
Negotiated that situation pretty well. Again, possibilities he'll try and hit the left-hand red of those four as we look. Just gently. Doesn't have to play that shot, but it's the sort of shot you'd expect Stewart to take on. Well, he hit the wrong red as it happens. Still something available. Sure, he played to hit the top red there
57.
as that camera angle shows us.
Mustn't miss this.
58.
Yeah, well, he's not missing an awful lot so far.
65.
Well, pot success 96%. If he keeps that up, he'll probably win the match. That's excellent. I think at one point I saw last
66.
night that Judd Trump was down in the 60s%. That's very low for any top player, let alone the world number one.
$71. $72.
So already Stuart Bingham has this frame in the bag, and with it a 2-1 lead.
$78.
Yeah, certainly all one visit snooker
79.
thus far. That's an excellent shot. That's pushing the red out. That was some way safe.
$87.
He's won 2 Asian PTC events this year in the summer onwards, and you can see why. He's in terrific
92.
form actually. And those events are very difficult to win. A lot of players in them, a lot of up-and-coming Chinese players, as well as
93.
some British and European players who make their way over to China to play in them, and Bingham has dominated.
The century for Bingham then. And those tournaments in Asia we were talking about, Neil,
100.
enabled Bingham to finish top of the Asian PTC Order of Merit. A level 100 gives Stuart Bingham a 2-1 lead, and they've only been playing 25 minutes. It's £1,000 per century at the group stage, but not in the knockout phase. Sublime. Tight on the rail and strokes it in as clean as you like.
Yeah, it did wobble in the jaws, but tremendous shot, and the angle he's got takes him towards the reds again. Pressure on this. Whew. Well, that was a very unlucky secondary kiss that he got. Now, he deserved better than this. Watch this. The red has come back and knocked the cue ball on the cushion. That really is unfortunate. Well, again, I would say that is unlucky. Great pot. Any little nudge on the yellow. He'd been praying just to glance off that yellow and finish on the blue. It never happened. And the break has to end. He can't go for something here. Unfortunately, he's got to play safe. Those 3 shots deserved a better fate than he made there in that break of 9. Well, he has a red there, as you saw. In fact, one to the other corner pocket looks very difficult. And this safety shot, I mean, he's playing up and down from this. You've always got to watch for the double kiss, or... Well, he's not going to play it. Don't blame him. He's playing the dump shot. And that's, I guess, trying to come up towards the bulk area with the red past the blue spot was going to be too much of a risk. It's not a match that's had much safety, but we could get 2 or 3 safety shots apiece here. Oh, he took a huge risk. Well, that's not bad at all. Always dangerous, as I say, getting that up that end of the table. He had to get that snooker on that red. Won't be tempted by that one.
Using the bunch as a stopper.
Well, he's already taken 10 seconds looking at this, and he glanced up at the shot clock, so he needs more time. First extension of the frame for Trump. It's all very, very weak safety. It's not hard enough. I think that red will just cut in past the black. I'm not saying it's easy. He underhit that last shot, Trump. May have got away with it.
He was trying to leave the cue ball on the black cushion.
I think that's the other issue with the way that the Premier League is played with those 25 seconds. You get 2 or 3 difficult safety shots in a row, and this one again needs attention. Judd knows he hasn't got that long. He doesn't want to use up his second time extension here. There's a lot of snooker to be played in this frame. He wouldn't have any more left. And again, a little bit weak with that. I'm sure that Stewart will take that red on this time.
Yes, in the end, Trump hurried his shot. Well, I thought he'd pot that.
We could definitely pot it because he missed it on the thick side. Oh dear, once again a terrible second kiss there, and Judd bowed his head. He knew he'd been unlucky. He thought the cue ball would come back to Bolt, but he couldn't legislate for where the red was going that he'd missed. That could cost him the frame. Red to the middle will pot, and he's coming down towards the black if it goes in.
One.
What a chance.
Eight. 9.
I can honestly say that Trump's been unlucky twice in this frame, with an unlucky kiss when he got in and he potted a red and a black and was very unlucky, and he was a bit unfortunate there as well, as we saw. I'm sure that it hasn't gone unnoticed to Judd himself sitting there.
16.
Sometimes when you watch a match and you're neutral, you can easily not see those little pieces of good and bad luck, but there's no doubt that Trump suffered twice there.
17.
Especially with the kind of form Bingham has been in this match, playing so well, and not quite gone as far as he would hope there.
24.
Handy that the blue and the pink were there at close hand. Still going to be tough to make this a frame-winning chance. Right-hand side of the table getting a bit cluttered up with those reds now.
$30. $31. Stuart Bingham, 31.
Unforced error, a bad one, and positionally by a wide margin.
Yeah, I think he played it with reverse side, which was right-hand side, and it just pushed the cue ball away slightly from the black. That's why he missed it on the side he did. But as you say, he misjudged it so badly, he's on nothing. Came as a shock though, the way he's been hitting them tonight so far. First semi-scrappy frame we've seen, and even then it's not been that bad. But you feel there's a lot of snooker that can be played in this frame, where all those reds are. Awkward queuing again. The green's where he wants to put his bridge hand for that red in the right corner, so he plays the other red. I think he's just playing safe. I don't even know if he's playing the double here. No, he's not.
It's like a pause for breath, this, after all the break making of the first three frames.
Certainly the sting has gone out of the match ever so slightly for a few moments. I think it'll be back though. These frames are as important though as all the others. Not every frame can be with a big break. That'll do. Right in there. Nobody likes playing shots from there. It's like being in the thick rough at golf. This shot that Judd Trump is faced with. He's got a red that he's taking on, but it's awkward queuing. He played in behind the yellow. It's not the worst effort. Just not quite hard enough.
A lot of distance involved there.
Yeah, I think Bingham with virtually the same shot. It's red about half ball, perhaps. Having the cue ball cleaned by Paul Collier in his own 25 seconds allotted time. Oh, what's happening here? Extension
Time
required.
extension.
Oh, there's something still on the ball.
Well, he's asked for an extension anyway.
Not seen that before. Referee cleans the cue ball. There's still something there. It's an important shot though. If he can knock it in, a 3-1 might be on the cards. I may have just hit across that ever so slightly. Hit it on the thin side. It's the right side to miss that, to get back to the bulk area. Trump doesn't really want those 6 reds where they are. He's only 22 behind, but he'll need them more than Bingham will.
He was trying to play a shot to force Bingham to play one of those reds on the right. It looks as if Bingham can get between black and blue to play the lowest red as a shot to nothing.
Well, that seems to have snookered Judd on all reds. Little rueful smile from Trump. He knows that there's no way that Stuart Bingham could have played it. Just a little bit of right-hand side. That's all he needs.
Got to avoid the blue here.
Foul. And a miss.
Seen him do that a few times. Complete miscue.
Stuart Bingham 4.
Almost, I think the cue sometimes just gets a bit trapped over the top of the ball. Yeah, I think it almost like a double hit, isn't it? Still 4 away because he never made any contact with the red.
Well, that wasn't a frame clinching chance, not an obvious one anyway, but it was certainly an opportunity for Bingham to increase his lead. Not a great safety from Trump.
Well, this has left him with hardly any shot at all.
"15 minutes since Trump last potted a ball."
Yeah, trying to get those reds open this time, Clive. To try and pot a few in one go. If the chance ever comes. I wonder if he's left the shot for Stuart to hide him behind the blue though. Might be able to just play him behind the blue from this. Try and play a snooker. That's what he attempted. And that is what I think he's got on most of the reds anyway.
You mustn't leave Bingham a shot at the red nearest the right corner.
Foul. And a miss.
Well, we saw it close up, didn't we? Close at hand. He thought he could get directly to the red, but he couldn't. Blue moved a couple of millimetres, I'd say.
One.
So again, a chance here for 3-1. Might be easier to clinch the frame here. He's given away 9 points in fouls this frame. May or may not be important, but depends if he gets back to the table at all. That's a pretty good positional shot there that Bingham's played.
8.
That was a good shot. Through the gap between the red and the black.
$16. $17.
Well, he'd love to be about straight on this, but I don't think he is. And that means he doesn't have an angle to screw into the reds. Difficult to see where his next red would come from here. Just completely the wrong angle. Oh, there might be just the smallest of gaps down the cushion. That was quite well played. Wouldn't be an easy shot. It would help if the red was touching the cushion. It looks like it's almost lying on there. That makes the pot a lot easier.
35.
And the black is frame ball.
Yeah, and didn't he know it, Clive? Didn't try anything there to get on the red. It was very well played. I suspect that Trump will carry on if
32.
No other reds are potted here. But he's looking for all the world like 3-1 to Bingham. Especially after that shot. I don't think you can quite get to that red.
.63 in front, only 59 on. But Bingham, even now, will take nothing for granted.
No, absolutely. One snooker at this level is not an impossible task for any player. And also, they're the worst frames to lose when you know that your opponent wants snookers and they get there. It kind of can demoralise a player who's in the strong position and lost the frame. Usually it's just a question of getting down to one red left, and then Trump will try and get a snooker on that. And the balls are not too bad for getting them either. Frame's not quite over.
Nine.
Well, this is a great positional shot.
How about that?
That's brilliant.
16.
To get there from one cushion didn't seem possible.
So, 17.
Now it's just a situation where he's thinking about how is he going to get a snooker on the last red once he's knocked this black in. We'd like to sneak in behind the yellow, but I don't think that shot's going to be on from here. Twice across the table.
24.
Too many balls in the way, maybe. I didn't try it. And if it is a snooker, he should be able to hit this one all right.
24.
Looks like a simple swerve onto one cushion, or you can see it anyway.
But for missing an easy black at the end of it, Trump would have won the opening frame last evening against Neil Robertson from 3 snookers needed. So he knows it can be done.
Well, that's a little bit of a ticklish one, because the red is in the middle of the table, and when that is in the middle of the table, that's when it's awkward. He's playing a big swerve here. Well, it's all about the pace. Well played. The kind of shot, if you hit that too hard, you wouldn't get the swerve on in time. He had time to really bite that cue ball. Played that slowly.
On the theme of snookering, Trump was 3-1 down to Neil Robertson last evening and needing a snooker in the 5th frame, but managed to win that frame. A turning point, as it turned out.
There's certainly a part of his game that's improved. I don't think he was interested in playing for snookers a couple of seasons ago. So many of the younger players would just want to get on with the next frame where possible.
Foul. Stuart Bingham 4 and the frame.
Well, in disappointment and frustration, Trump concedes the frame, having gone in off. So Bingham increases his lead to 3-1.
Big frame, you feel. Chance for Bingham to extend this lead, and with that shot, he's in first with a chance. A clever shot, because he went for the pot, and he knew it'd be on the black, but he knew he couldn't really leave anything else. Don't think he could stick the red that he was playing that instance. That's all right. Not straight enough necessarily on the next one to run through for the black, but he's got a shot all the same. Well, that goes, that pink. Good shot, actually. Of course, it is a longer match than usual, first to 7. But the 4-1 advantage is something for that man to worry about, that's for sure.
15.
Wow.
16.
It's not very good. It's quite a thin one, and if it goes in, he's kind of coming towards the reds, but it's a very difficult shot, this. Now, how's he going to play it? Is he going to play it to open the reds up? No. Played on the red in the middle. That's a real good shot.
Yeah, screw shot off a relatively thin contact.
He's got the red in the corner as well. This keeper's got to slow down. That's 24. Okay, just. Again, he just has played this with a touch of left-hand side. He wants to get the same side of the red as he is now. This has got to reach. What a lovely touch that was. That is what you call playing that dead weight to hold. It was
31.
Just another millimetre, and that was all he needed there on that one. He's away again. Seeing first of why he's in the final, because he's extremely fluent and he can, like Trump, put frames away very quickly.
Currently 11th in the world rankings. Career high is 10th.
Yeah, I think you could argue that he's definitely a top 8 player right now, I think, on his current form. Not only just tonight, but you know, the way he's been playing in the last few weeks. And to get into the top 8 in the world, to be a real feather in his cap, because he has been around quite a while.
Another perfectly played positional cannon.
And that's one shot, he's just under hit slightly. He knows he can go up the table past the blue because the pink's near the middle, so that's not 55. A problem. There's just a bit more work to be done yet. Not very close.
Stuart Bingham, 55.
I think he still may have been kicking himself for not leaving better position. That half ball cut to corner or even less always looked missable.
I'm not even sure whether Trump can get to this. I don't think he can see enough of it. He can probably hit it full on, but he's just got to hit it slightly to the right, as we were watching there. Bingham has dodged one at that point because that was a mistake on the red. Lucky not to leave anything. So he's playing the best of the two, but he's getting just a slight rub of the green.
Well, his nickname, Stuart Ball Run Bingham, refers to an old habit of complaining that the run of the balls wasn't favouring him, but that's not the case tonight.
What a chance that now Judd Trump has got. To be honest, I don't think I've ever known a player in the game that's not complained that he's unlucky. Can't always be unlucky. They all have a moan at times. Only see the bad things that happen and never the good. We're all guilty of that. So, Trump with a chance to pull a frame out of the fire that he never looked like winning.
8.
Didn't like the shot, did he? He knew he was going into the black. And he's not happy to finish there, that's for sure.
Well, how long were the odds on not being able to pop the pink when he played the shot?
Yeah, and also the blue's awkward because the red's in his line of queuing a bit. So it looks like he's going to actually have to play the black. This is very tricky. This is a very missable shot. I don't think he'd want to be playing this very often, but he probably sees that he's got little or no choice. Still got 20 seconds left because he took an extension. Cue ball and object ball close together. Always can be missed, these. Well, never even hit it hard enough, but it was always top jaw.
Judd Trump 9.
I think he's done the game. So a bit of pressure on Trump tonight, as we're seeing. He has, again, not been the luckiest there. Dangerously close to the middle pocket, that.
1.
I'm surprised he didn't give himself a bit more margin of error there. He could have done.
Well, you'd say, I was going to say the black definitely goes. He was looking at a bulk colour for a while. That's not bad, unless he has awkward queuing once again.
8.
So, the lead is 54 points. If he takes the red and the black here, he'll be safe. But this is tricky. Might have to get the spider out or something else from under that table. Surely he can't reach this, can he? He resembled the statue Eros for a second there, trying to lean over and play that shot. Yeah, he's had a couple of chances to win the frame. That's a nice flick though, putting the pink awkward.
Bingham 8.
That might help him later on in the frame.
Having a good run of the balls at the moment. Make the most of it. It won't last forever.
Oh, can he possibly get through the gap? Ooh, well, that would be unbelievable. Look at that. It's only a ball's width. He can get through. Oh dear, oh dear.
1.
Trump shook his head there. He couldn't believe that Bingham was on that red. Well, all not exactly gone to plan, has it? Looks uncomfortable. Started well tonight, did Judd Trump. A lot better than last night. Last night's match with Robertson won't live in the memory forever. It wasn't great. Most memorable thing about it was that it finished at 1:30 in the morning. It told you it wasn't a classic. But tonight, it's just
16.
been a little bit unlucky. But there is a session, mid-session interval coming up after this
17.
frame, so he'll have time to get his head together. 4-1 down is troublesome. We might be in for a shock winner this year if things continue like this.
22. 23.
Many times though, the interval seems to change the course of a match. Maybe tonight will be such an occasion.
28. 29.
But there's no doubt about it. Stuart Bingham has built up a very promising lead. This frame will bring him
33.
within 3 frames of the title.
35. 38. 42.
It's certainly good for this lead. No one could argue with this scoreline. You would argue that Trump's not had a lot of luck, but Bingham's
47.
clearly played the better of the two. There'd be no argument there whatsoever.
53.
Breaks of 55 and 53 from Stuart Bingham in that frame. Increases lead to 4-1 at the mid-session interval. Would, I am sure, during the mid-session interval, I've been saying to him, well played, don't lose your focus, still got plenty to do. I've also seen Judd Trump chatting to his manager, Django Fung, who will have been trying to say the right thing, the thing most calculated to help Trump.
You know, as we know, intervals in matches can turn things around. There's no doubt about that. And Stuart, I'm sure, when he was taking his few minutes off there, was thinking about lifting the trophy. Sometimes getting too far ahead of yourself can be the problem at this game. Can't help but dream. But at the moment, it's 4-1 with work to be done still.
Well, I think a few seasons ago it was a problem for Stuart Bingham because
Touching ball.
quite a few times he was on the brink of what would have been a significant win and didn't quite make it, and it always seemed to me to be because he was thinking about the significance of the shots that he was playing rather than just playing the shots. Of course, it's difficult to get everything out of your mind and just play the balls, but certainly Bingham has been much better at it in the last couple of seasons. He's not afraid to win. He knows he's good enough. A few seasons ago, he thought maybe he was, but he wasn't sure.
Doesn't want to go into the pack too firmly here. Doesn't want to push a red out. Well, it's got a good shape on it, that one. He's left a red that tempts Trump to the left corner, and also I don't know if he's got anything else he can go for, so he has to play it. Well, again, a little unlucky. I don't think he's had a great run. I mean, I'm not saying it was always going to be that he would knock the black into play, but he has knocked it where it doesn't pot again. Got to play safe from this, so the break will end there. Well, can't complain that time. He's been fortunate. Little nudge on the green has pushed the cue ball behind the brown. Well, there's a chance of the red pots here. He's looked at the red to the middle. I think that will just go, but my word, it's a small gap. Don't think he can play it if it does. Well, he's not playing it. He's playing that one. Well, once again, it's not worked out perfectly. He's got a shot on the green. He's always going to trust to luck on that shot. And Trump is not frightened to let the cue ball run around the table. So luck, good and bad, will always come his way. Don't necessarily have the same control of the cue ball that other players do, but he's one of the great potters we've seen. Has gone too far again. That's what I'm saying. The cue ball travels around, and it's hard to control on these very quick tables.
Considerable cue power was needed to get round for the red on the black spot, but even then Trump overhit it. Just shows what cue power he's got.
He's disgusted with that shot as well.
Trump 3.
Played him behind the yellow. He held his head down as if he feels that he should have played a better safety shot. He's put himself possibly in trouble here. If Bingham can play a nice shot, miss the black here on the safety, and he could put Trump in bother.
Not too much bother though.
I just wonder if Stuart will be tempted by this long red. Black available if it goes in. And he's already had a look at what he might leave should he miss it. So he's going to go for this. If it goes in, it's a good chance. Oh, wow, what a marvellous piece of cueing that was. I mean, obviously, he wasn't so confident to get the pot that he didn't play the screw shot, but he very, very sweet. In behind the brown.
Stuart Bingham 1.
That was meant to be a glancing escape, but it wasn't a glance. Nothing goes to the left corner though, so he's got away with it.
Yeah, all he's got is a safety shot back. Not good. He could have done with missing that green. He might have put Trump in trouble, but he hasn't done. And again, it could be that Trump could get in somewhere in behind the green from this, around 3 cushions. What he tried. The way the Reds are, you just feel that one proper chance could be enough for either player. Reds are in the middle of the table still. Well, that is the best safety shot we've seen in this frame.
91% of Bingham's safeties been good enough to prevent Trump potting a ball. 85% for Trump. But it's not just a question of preventing your opponent from potting a ball. There's also the element of making them so difficult that they create an opening.
Yeah, I mentioned that the last Bingham safety shot was the best in the frame. Trump's reply was even better than that. Just think that he's covered this. He stayed down. He thought it might just go in off that far jaw, but at least he's covered it with the blue. And that was loose from Bingham. That wasn't a good shot. He's got away with it. That red could have easily been pottable to the left corner, the one that's over the top of the black. That's a funny old shot as well. A few odd little safety shots being played here, but the bottom line is that red, there's enough sticking out to pot it to the middle. A curious few shots we've seen here. Neither player can just pop that ball to get him started. They all look very good, that double, which crunched into the middle pocket.
Yellow ball.
Playing the yellow, he's attacking. He was up on that very quickly.
Judd Trump.
Sure what happened there, whether it was a kick or not. Cue ball didn't travel very far. See it again. Well, it didn't look like a kick and it didn't seem to jump.
So all in all, a ball that Trump would normally pot.
Well, things have become awkward with that red above the black now. That's the one that's next to it. I mean, you wonder how on earth anyone could make a frame-winning break with those two balls like that. It's very unusual to see a ball next to each other like that, and almost making the frame a bit of a stalemate until it's moved. It's got into this a little too much.
6. Seven.
Well, ideally, I think he'd like to shift that red away from the black, but it's very risky to try and play that shot. This was the ball just dropping in. Now then, this could be the shot. If he can get to that red down the cushion, he could possibly flick the red away. This is a key shot. He's trying to flick the red away from the black from this. That is a little bit unfortunate, actually. It was a great idea.
Not on the black. And I'm sure he also thought he might finish on the pink
Yellow
as
ball.
well, but he hasn't done that either.
Stuart Bingham, 12.
Well, the pot's not on. It's a question of playing a thin safety shot. Another tempter for Bingham.
big crowd here in Grimsby. It's always been a hotbed of snooker interest.
Very nice once again. His long game has been excellent, actually. Played one earlier on in the frame, which was great striking. That was also important. Well, we know one thing. This has been a slightly awkward frame so far, but Stuart will realise that after that last shot, he's got a wonderful chance for 5-1.
9.
Well, now, this is quite tense for Stuart. This is a big lead if he can get there. And who's to say he won't win the frame at this visit? The balls are very nicely positioned.
16. 17.
He's beaten enough top players, he's had enough big wins not to be fazed by a situation like this.
No, I don't think he'll be fazed by it, but he's fully aware of the implications of winning this frame and drawing further clear. It's strange how sometimes when you're behind in a match you're under pressure,
25.
but occasionally when you've got a chance to beat a top player like this, pull her further away from him, there's pressure in that also. I mean, Clive made reference to the fact that he's not frightened to win anymore, but this would be a great chance. Is he on that red? He had a
31.
long hard look at it. I think he's just on there. Still got some work to do. He leads by 39 points.
Time extension.
Taking a time extension. I think that's wise. Always worth just taking stock of a situation where you can. That's 32. The shot.
$38. $39.
He's over the line, barring something extraordinary.
Yeah, bookmaker odds 11-4 on Bingham before this frame. Of course, that'll be much longer odds on now.
46.
Probably 4-1 on or something around about that mark, because this is a big
47.
lead. Trump still wants 6 frames. We've been playing a couple of hours. He's only managed to win one of these frames. And that was the first. And as I say, I'm not saying he's played very badly tonight. 1 or 2
53.
piece of not great fortune and a very worthy opponent.
54.
This is Bingham's 5th break over 50, highest of which
61.
is one of 100. That one stalls on 61, and that's plenty for a 5-1 lead. Trump is in deep trouble.
Yeah, I'll second that. That's always very much worth watching. Thrills and spills of the Sky Shootout. Sometimes throws up an unlikely winner. I'm not saying Stuart Bingham was an unlikely possible winner of this tournament, but yeah, he wouldn't have been one of the favourites at the beginning, that's for sure. Man, he's playing was the initial favourite, Judd Trump. I mean, these two have played a lot of snooker recently, all around the world. Last weekend they were over in Bulgaria playing in a PTC event. Judd Trump eventually beat John Higgins in the final of that. Stuart Bingham has been playing in all the Asian PTC events.
Yes, he's won 2 out of 3 of them and finished top of the Asian PTC rankings.
Well, it's going to have to be the blue, and while I expect him to get it, pressure is on this shot. Well, maybe the comeback starts right now.
6. 7. 14. 15.
I was saying earlier that Trump's got the knack of being able to win frames very quickly. Time-wise, 6-7 minutes. Bingham's done that a couple of times tonight as well.
Yeah, sure.
And,
20.
frame 2 in 7 minutes. So, while Trump is behind, if he has a purple patch of about half an hour, he could be right back in the match.
$21.
Because the other thing about all the snooker that these guys are playing at the moment, and they are playing all the time, is that come the springtime when the World Championships are around, I wonder if 1 or 2 of these players have got a little bit stale by then. They're playing week in, week out, and that 17 days at the Crucible you need to be fresh for. Kind of helped O'Sullivan last year, I think, that he hadn't played in much. Anyway, that's for later on. As far as that shot is concerned,
35.
he's got a red to the middle.
$36.
This is the first time that Trump's been over 30 since the opening frame.
41.
Which he took with a break of 83.
$42.
Well, he could go into the 4 reds, but I don't think he needs to. Enough reds out on the left of the table not to worry about those. Oh, he stayed down on that one. He wasn't certain. He hadn't overcut it.
47.
So this is better. More like the world #1.
48.
I think he might nudge into them this time, though. Looks the natural shot.
$55. 56.
56.
63.
So that's the frame over in the blink of an eye.
64.
Certainly when this black is sunk. It'll be one back for Trump.
And possibly a century coming up.
71. $72.
The front runner for the £5,000 highest break prize is Stuart Bingham with 135.
$79. 80.
Trump has a chance to beat it.
$87. 88.
Tried to develop the awkward
95.
red, but missed the cannon.
$96.
Well, played with lots of left-hand side to get as far back down the table as he possibly could. Well, he just asked Paul Collier what the highest break is, and he knows he can take the blue here and red and black, and he can beat that break. The man he's playing very much hopes not. That is the century. Stuart Bingham will say well done, but don't clear up with the black here, because I want the £5 not you. Stuart at the moment has a little grin on his face. He might turn a bit white if this goes in.
No, he left that rather awkward across the cushion, but it's a splendid break of 101. So is that an interruption to Bingham's dominance merely, or the beginning of a full-scale comeback? Anyway, Trump reduces Bingham's lead to 5-2.
Yeah, and another century break for Judd Trump. He's made 39 this season, but there's been plenty in the Premier League. Now, of course, he was trying to make 136 there because Stuart Bingham is at the top with 135. Bingham has, as you can see, made 5 century breaks, and Trump has got another one on the bottom of there now. So he's got 101, so he's got 4, and well, I mean, these two players have been the two stars, haven't they?
Trump on 39 centuries for the season, and the record for a season is 55 by Mark Selby, so there's a very high probability that Trump will beat that.
Yeah, there is, and that would be quite something. That would be a great record based on how great the players are and the amount of snooker they're playing.
Okay. The 8th frame, Stuart Bingham to break.
Very short.
Well, knocked it in very coolly once again. And how strong will Bingham come back? Just had a century from his opponent. He knows his man is starting to play better. He's not exactly been waiting for that to happen, but he knew it might happen, that Trump would start to play.
8.
So crucially in first here and would like to make it pay.
9.
Just a reminder, the Mosconi Cup pool tournament, USA v Europe. Snooker shootout in late January.
16. Touch and ball.
Mosconi Cup 10th to
17.
13th of December. One frame shootout, January the 25th to the 27th.
Yeah, the shot clock 15 seconds for the first part of the 10 minutes, and the remaining 5 minutes down to 10 seconds. Of course, the balls have got to stop before the shot clock is reset for 10 seconds. 10 seconds a shot. That'll sort out the men from the boys. Don't miss that.
25.
I think the cricket's players around. These are two of them actually on the tour. Bingham and Trump up there with the crickets. Of course, Tony Drago would always be considered one of the very quick players. The man from Malta.
32.
Got Robert Milkins, who's very quick. He's done well in the shootout before. So plenty of players are capable, but plenty I can think of aren't. I won't mention any names, but there's a few that will struggle to get to the table in 10 seconds, let alone play a shot.
Meanwhile, this is 5
33.
reds and the 5th black coming up.
Yeah, we've never had a 147 in the Premier League at the moment. Stuart Bingham will be pleased to get to the point where Trump wants a snooker. You don't be too concerned about that. That has gone a little bit awkward.
40.
He's kind of got to take this on, but it's a bit of a tricky angle. Both players up to 90%, so the standard has been pretty good. Missable this.
Stuart Bingham, 40.
And now that he has missed it, his 40 might not count for much if Trump gets the bunch open.
1.
He leapt up in the air, didn't he? I mean, as if he thought it had rolled off, but I mean, he's not badly on the black. Not really. Just feel that this is an enormous part of the match. If he could somehow win this frame, he'd be right back in things, especially with Bingham having got in first and only making 40.
Didn't finish on the back red. Oh, didn't mean to cannon the green.
That's a terrible shot to go into the green. I think he might have hit the pot a bit thick on the red. And that would of course have thrown the cue ball a little bit wider. Yeah, it didn't quite go in the middle of the pocket. Very poor shot though to go into green. Now he's trying to say that the balls are rolling all over the place. He's actually got the snooker, so I wouldn't worry too much.
But Trump will feel very frustrated to have made only 9 from that opportunity.
I'd like to think it would be a touching ball here, Stuart Bingham, so he could play away from these.
Touch and ball.
It's handy, and always worth trying to find the bulk cushion on these. That'll be the aim of Stuart Bingham. Even better in behind the green. Good shot. Well, I think the same route in behind yellow, green and brown will be what he's looking for from this shot. It's a big target, those 3 balls being where they are. This looks okay. It's a good shot. Got the snooker. There is a gap that he can get through to the yellow and green, but he still can't get to the reds directly. He's under pressure. This looks... I was going to say it looks short. It nearly got there.
Stuart Bingham 4. Back.
Well, it's going to go back. I suspect he'll get the shot right this time. The line was perfect. It was more a question of just one more half a ball run and he'd have been there.
Yeah, play through the gap.
And just Stuart getting involved in that, which is, of course, he's entitled to do. Both players have to agree where the balls have been replaced.
Okay.
So I suspect it's a fraction harder in pace. Ah, he's left one. He has left one.
Didn't manage to find the same line.
1.
Paul Collier gave himself the best possible view for any possible foul there. None was forthcoming.
It's a question of what's left in the pack that goes. There's
8.
3 reds at the bottom. I wonder if one of them will pot. Certainly the bottom left of the 3 will go to the left middle. Don't know if it goes into the corner pocket or not, but that will decide the frame, I think.
9.
There it goes. The red goes to the right corner. It's another frame for Bingham. He's not there yet, but he's very tight on winning this frame.
16.
Red colour and a further red, and he'll be safe.
17.
Well, Judd knows that he needs Stuart to make a very quick mistake from here. Just a little cannon being played. That is a very nicely played shot indeed. And he only wants another red.
24.
Trump's going to have to win 5 frames in a row to win the Premier League. That is a very tall order.
25.
Bingham's potting well. He's in good touch. He's got very good composure.
30.
He's in a commanding position.
31.
Yeah, he's played ever so well, hasn't he? And he's good for this lead. He's played pretty good snooker all the way through. He's been dangerous.
36.
He's made 1 or 2 mistakes, but he's quickly bounced back from those. And he really deserves
37.
his lead. Still going to get that last frame, though, which is never going to be easy, as we know. There's a history of one-sided finals. Are we seeing another one here? It would be a shock if Bingham was to win this one comfortably. Want to go against all the way that the bookies saw this match.
44. 45.
I'm hearing that he's
51.
25 to 1 on to win this match. So you put on your 25 quid
52.
and you get a £1 profit. Judd Trump 9 to 1 to win 5 frames in a row. That's how the betting is right now.
59.
Matches have been won from 4 down with 5 to play, but the trailing
62.
player has to play well, and almost always the player in front has to seize up a bit.
Well, that's right, because always a chance will come in the space of 4 or 5 frames. Always going to be something to go at.
71.
Breaks up 40 and 71. Extend Stuart Bingham's lead to 6-2. He's 4 up with 5 to play.
It's been an enjoyable match to watch, but I don't suppose Judd Trump would agree, because he's watched Stuart Bingham scoring heavily quite a lot so far. As I said earlier, I honestly don't think Trump's done an awful lot wrong. Clearly he's not played anywhere near his best, but he hasn't played that badly. He's had what a lot of snooker players get, the kind of night where everything's gone a little bit awkward for him. Every shot there's been something tricky about.
Meant to be a safety. Certainly didn't intend to leave the red as near the corner pocket as that, although if it's a cut at all, it's very fine.
Yeah, he's going for the cut right behind the line of the shot here. It's a very, very skinny shot, this. Oh, very well done. He nearly overcut that. Let's thought about teetering on the edge, but it went in. No, he didn't go for the pot there. That's a pretty good attacking shot.
Stuart
Some
Bingham
people
1.
might have thought he tried to knock the brown in, but he played exactly that. Cue ball safe, brown to open the reds up. Clever shot. Well, maybe the luck has changed at last.
1.
Certainly Trump is in the sort of situation where he needs all the help he can get.
Judd Trump 1.
He's left something into the middle pocket. Not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't know what colour he can get on from it. No, he's playing it. Oh dear. I don't understand what he was thinking there. I can't see what colour he could get on and what value he had. And if he's left the red to the right middle, that is a pretty nightmarish shot. Don't think he's on that one. Well, no, not really. He can't get to enough of the red. The shot that Trump played was a strange one. This is difficult, middle pocket. He's got it. Great cueing. Very, very good.
1.
Well, I guess if you're close to winning a title, you want to really do it very quickly. Win this frame now. Don't hang around. Get this match over with. Lift the trophy and enjoy the rest of the evening. Because if it does get to the point where Trump wins a couple, he might fancy the job again.
Bingham set up his appearance in the playoffs by 2 6-0 wins
6.
in the same evening over Mark Selby and Neil Robertson.
7.
So if he can beat players like that 6-0, there's no reason why he shouldn't beat Judd Trump 6-2.
Now it's a golden evening down in Guildford for him, wasn't it? I mean, the odds of any player winning 12 consecutive frames when the players are of this standard, enormous odds. And the other thing was that Bingham wasn't favourite to win either of those matches, playing the then world #1 Mark Selby and Neil Robertson, so it was quite an amazing night of snooker. Don't forget he set this up at all, playing in the Premier League by winning in Bendigo the Australian Open back in 2011. What a lucrative victory that turned out to be for him.
Bingham came here having won £23,000 at the group stage of this competition.
20.
He's the front runner for the £5,000 highest break prize, and of course the hot favourite now for the £50,000 first prize.
Stuart Bingham 20.
But it's not over yet.
No, a little frown there. I think he had it in his mind to get the brown into play, because he managed that but forgot the pot. There's often a reason why a pot is missed, because the player is thinking too much about what's happening after that. So Trump does come back to the table. What has he got? That's the question. This is a good time to find out where we stand with Trump's chances of a comeback tonight.
7. Eight.
Good to get the brown out of the way, because the pink is now potable to that pocket.
It's not a good shot from Trump. Don't know what happened there. He got into the cue ball too much, I think. Nearer the side cushion than he would like, and he's not straight enough on the red. Just about made it, and I think he's all right. Pink pots. But where does his next red come from? They're tightly grouped up here. I don't know if he can screw into them from this angle or not. This is going to take a good shot to play on his next red. I think one of them goes to the right corner. He's got to get right across the table. He's got to hit this hard. Oh dear. It was a tricky shot, there's no doubt about that.
Judd Trump 13.
But he lost position a couple of shots earlier and was always playing catch-up in that regard.
That was another awkward shot. I mean, this is not really a proper chance as of yet for Stuart Bingham. Not to say he couldn't make it into one in a few shots. Now he's had a little look at the amount of time he's got left to take this shot on. That's very, very good. That really is an excellent shot. Not only the pot, but just the way he controlled the cue ball across.
7.
Now this is crunch time.
8.
Might have the angle on the yellow to break the reds open, but coming from the left of the table, it's not a very big target. This is a difficult shot now, but I think he's got to play into them. It's a brilliant effort. That is a very good shot. As I say, coming across that side, as you can see, the reds are all in a line. I didn't fancy him to be on one there, but he is.
Well,
I just think that he looks a little bit under pressure. I mean, he's played some nice shots But he knows how close he is to this title. Gone a little bit further on that. He wanted to be straighter. Again, the pressure mounting up. He's normed this red nicely. And 17. Those 3 reds are all tied up that will follow. Yeah, he sensed that at some point something had to give there. Kept taking on difficult shots.
17.
And eventually he missed one.
From tight on the rail, he had to force a bit, and that increased the difficulty of the pot.
There's no way that Stewart wants to break the 3 reds up in the middle of the table. That is more Trump's problem than his. 24 points behind.
Trump got the cue ball back pretty much where he intended.
Yeah, I think Stewart would argue there, certainly by the look on his face, that it was not as intended, but oh dear, little swerve, which didn't quite happen.
Yes, I meant intended for length, not quite as awkward as that.
He's very close to hitting this. I mean, that's just gone past it there. A coat of paint. And what's happening here? It was
in front of it there.
Cue ball was in front of the green there. This is going to be a very difficult shot for Paul Collier to set up again. Any referee would struggle with this.
A little bit further on.
And that little fraction makes all the difference on a shot of this kind. So I can't see how it could have been there, because how did he get left-hand side on it?
Without fouling the green.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's how you hit them.
Too clever. That's a good shot to get on the black, but he wants an angle on it. Don't think those 3 reds pot anywhere. Does the right hand red of the 3 pot into the right middle? Don't know. And he's almost straight on it now. Has he got an? Can he make an angle to go into the reds round 2 cushions? It's unlucky. It's not been his night so far. Nothing goes now. Got to be very careful. He might play his last shot if he leaves something on. Doesn't know what to do. No idea here. It's a horrible little shot. He's got 2 extensions left, so he has to use one here, but he has to make good use of this. This is a very dangerous table for him. Dear. Distance between the cue ball and object ball, I guess, all he can do. But he was worried about a red coming up the table.
Judd Trump,
well,
8.
The in off might have been the end of the match.
It would have been an easy red to middle from the D had the cue ball dropped. That red.
Tell you what, that was a very, very good effort. Right in the jaws of the pocket. So Trump with another chance.
1.
I just wonder there, just thinking about the fact that Trump nearly went off into the top right pocket and that could have been the end of the match. I wonder if Stewart, if he loses this frame, will think about how close that was to winning the title. Okay, we know that where that's finished is probably the worst possible outcome for Judd Trump. He'd be fuming that he's finished there. How would you like these? Right over the top of the yellow. To the point where he didn't even play the pot. That is a let-off for Stuart Bingham. It's been that kind of a night, Clive. How on earth has he finished right over the yellow like that?
Yes, overall, the run of the balls hasn't favoured Trump.
Too early to use your favourite expression, clincher's disease, Clive. Bit early in the piece, is it?
Well, I won't think of using it until Bingham has a golden match-winning chance and blows it.
No, that's exactly that. You've explained it perfectly. But it does become difficult for most players, especially because this is a frame that's been not really in keeping with the ones that have gone before. It's not been a particularly nice frame for either player, this one. Oh dear. Another one he's missed, and the double kiss gives Trump this shot. If he takes it on down the cushion, which again is open to debate, it's a risky one. The problem with this shot, if he plays it, is it plays it slowly, it could stay right over the pocket. Now the problem now he's got, I don't know how he can get on the red. Pink, if that's straight, I can't see how he can get from pink to red as he plays the double. That's virtually straight, isn't it? I think he plays the safety shot. I think he'll play cue ball in behind yellow, green and brown here.
7.
Got a big target.
Judd Trump 7.
Got the cue ball exactly where he wanted to.
Like most other shots that Trump's been faced with, it's very difficult, this. He didn't go for it once again. Well, at 6-2 up, you wouldn't think that Stuart Bingham would be tense, but he is. You can sense it. That's a very fine shot, though. That really is a good shot. He was in an awkward position there. Well, it doesn't have to go for this, but if this drops in with all those colours available at the other end of the table, that's where the cue ball's going. This could be the match winner. Tough, though. Maybe yellow and yellow again is the way he's going to go here. I think he has to. Well, is he straight enough?
3.
Not an easy shot to get from yellow to green now. If he was dead straight on this, it would be a simple shot to run through. How does he do this?
Time
He screws up
extension.
high, and in other words, up towards the blue spot on that left of the table. He might have a thin cut back in. It's not an easy shot to get from yellow to green at all. He's put so much side on this, the cue ball's gone. He hit that almost too well. I don't know how he got there.
So it's got to be a safety, and he wants to make it a good one.
Yeah, at the moment, Trump shouldn't be too aggrieved at the situation on the table, because the black's safe, but he won't actually need the black. If he clears up, he only has to clear up to the pink.
Stuart Bingham 5.
Much better that the cue ball stayed out from Trump's point of view.
This is effectively a green ball frame, isn't it? You'd think whoever potted the green where the balls are should just win the frame from here. They stay in the rough positions they are now.
That's a good shot from Trump. Position of the black prevents Bingham getting the cue ball into baulk.
Well, that's not bad either. Trump smiles. He doesn't believe that Bingham played that shot, and I tend to think that he's probably right about that.
Yes, he's got the green more or less where he intended to, but it was a bonus to lead the snooker.
He's got out of jail there. Escaped that one all right. Well, no snooker, but distance between cue ball and object ball, which is always a good thing. That was also a good shot, a bit like the one he played towards the other side cushion. So it looks like he's going to have to play one cushion here with touch of right hand side just to get the pink, the green up the table. That's very well played. Oh, this is very difficult. Can't even see any great value in the pot unless he can cannon into the brown or something. Can't see any way he can be on the brown otherwise. That was a low value shot.
Wow.
And that is significant.
Stuart Bingham 4. Free ball.
Yes, a free ball because the non-offender can't hit both edges of the ball on.
It also means that that man now needs the black, which is a little bit awkwardly placed. Can't win the frame unless he ends up potting the black at the end.
Pink ball.
And that's another tactical shot, putting that safe. That means he's a bigger price favourite now, I guess. With the pink and the black a little bit awkward. And the snooker behind the black on the green might be on, but it's very difficult. Now, This is not really a pot. It's very low percentage, no guarantees of being on a colour. Having said that, the safety shot is also very awkward. Double kiss territory this. I've played it full on. He'll be happy with that shot.
Bingham's shot selection has been pretty good this weekend. He scored heavily, but he's shown very good tactical appreciation of just about every situation.
Well, there was a little bit of good fortune for Trump that time, I have to say.
Time extension.
In that he's developed the pink, but he hasn't left the green potable. It's his last extension now. He's got to play all his remaining shots within 25 seconds. Oh dear. This cue ball's got to run. Well, in the end, I have to say that's a good shot. For a minute, I was a little worried about that one. I thought he'd left the green on. Turned out to be a clever shot, in fairness, didn't it?
Foul. And a miss.
What on earth happened there? Straight into the brown. Yeah, I played it with a little bit of right-hand swerve, I think, and it took too quickly. He had to check it off the cushion to get the angle to pot the, or to hit the green. It was an odd shot, wasn't it? I think he played this shot with right-hand side. That's all I can think of, Clive, and he just swerved it onto the brown.
Yes, that's what it looked like.
It's again, it must have been away from the cushion more, because Trump would never have played from side, with side from right on that cushion rail.
Full ball.
I think that's about right. The shot he's playing is very difficult because he's playing with right-hand side, that's check side, and the cue ball is just going to die when it hits that right-hand cushion with that side on it.
That way. Yeah.
I don't think Trump can play that shot again. It's very awkward. Maybe he's trying it. The trouble is he's pushed it on now. 15 the difference. Wants the green and the brown to be Party Poker Premier League champion for the year. That would be quite something for Stuart Bingham. It's not there yet.
And those shots along the bore cushion are more difficult than they are along the black cushion because of the nap of the cloth. So Trump's still in this frame.
Yeah, pink to black will be the problem ball, obviously. Well,
7.
He nearly missed that. And for that reason, he's not on the blue very well. All I can think of here, Clive, is if he screws this in, he has to double the black into the left middle. Then there's any way he can get on it, unless he plays it down the right cushion rail at speed. I suppose that's the other option.
Time extension.
So Trump utilises his last time extension. He needs pink and black.
He didn't try anything flash there.
80.
That's for sure. Now then, he's got to pull out one of the shots of the season here if he's going to crunch this in.
Once he'd missed it, it was in the lap of the gods where the black finished.
Settle down,
This
please.
is for the match. Stuart Bingham is the Premier League champion. He has beaten 4 times world champion John Higgins 5-4 yesterday, and tonight he has beaten the new world #1 Judd Trump by 6 frames to 2. 6 breaks over 50, including 1 century, showed how heavily he was scoring. His tactical appreciation was extremely good. Judd Trump made breaks of 83 and 101 in the frames he won, but he missed a few more than he normally does, and he ends up runner-up with £25,000 to show for it. There's the winner, Stuart Bingham, and now we go to MC John McDonald for the prize presentations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of what was described as a brilliant final. Would you please welcome the chairman of the WPBSA, Mr. Jason Ferguson. The runner-up receiving his Premier League total of £44,000, Judd Trump. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner, and taking his Premier League total to £78,000, the magnificent trophy, but most important of all, the title of PartyPoker.com Premier League champion, Stuart Bingham!
Let's get a quick word from our new champion, Stuart Bingham. Congratulations, wonderful performance. How do you feel?
Over the moon. Just means so much to me, this does. Wow. I can't speak, sorry. Just unbelievable, just to pick up this trophy. Just means the world. Just sort of, for Gary, I won my first title and I forgot to mention Gary, my manager. Been with me for day one. Gal. Steve. Team Bingham. Getting success now. It's brilliant.
With nearly £80,000 in the bank, you can afford to buy a box of tissues tonight. That's not bad for a few months' work, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's about four or five nights' work. So, yeah, obviously, I'd say I was very fortunate today. Judd sort of. He weren't getting the nudges, and I was getting all the nudges, and obviously getting the run. That's why they call me Ball Run. Just obviously, I think sometimes when your name's on the trophy, it's on the trophy, and it's an unbelievable feeling.
Well, we'll let it sink in for a bit. We'll come back to you for the last word, but for the time being, Stuart Bingham, everyone. Judd, we can have a word. Commiserations, obviously wasn't to be your night. You just didn't really get going, did you?
No, the whole weekend I've struggled. So we played a lot of snooker recently, just felt a little bit drained. But to be fair to Stuart, he's played the best throughout the tournament. So I think there was only one deserving winner of this tournament. Why do you think you struggled? Obviously, we know you're a big fan of the format because of the style of snooker that you produce, but last night we know it went on to the early hours, but tonight as well, you just couldn't really get going. Was there a reason for that? No, I felt all right. First frame I made a break, then Stuart made a break, and then it just wasn't quite going my way, but to be honest, Stuart played the better, so he deserved it. Just even yesterday, I just didn't play my best, but you've got to have off days now and again, and I'll be back for the UK. I'm sure you will. Let's have a round of applause for our runner-up, Judd Trump, everyone. Stuart.
Let's have the final word. The final word goes to our new champion. At the top of the show, I mentioned some amazing names that have picked up that trophy before you: the Davis, the Hendrys, the Higgins, the Ronnies, the Jimmys, and now you become the 9th player ever to be Premier League champion. How on earth does that feel?
I feel sorry for all them guys having me on the trophy. Yeah, obviously amazing. Obviously, to have obviously the same name on the same trophy as Davis, Hendry, Jimmy, Ronnie. Obviously, this has been Ronnie's trophy for the last 10 years or so. Obviously, I used to practice with him a lot, and obviously, like I say, thanks. But obviously, I think it's my style of play. I've sort of get on with it, and it sort of helps you make your mind up. And just say thanks to obviously yourself, all the team that works here, that well, not the referees, but but obviously the cameramen, the table fitters, obviously commentary, security, everyone. Party Poker for the sponsorship. It's just been unbelievable 4 or 5 nights. Obviously I played, and it's just brilliant. Hopefully I'll come back next year.
A round of applause for your new Premier League champion, Stuart Bingham.